Welcome back to Jersey Matters. Tammy Murphy, the wife of Governor Phil Murphy, has been very active in her time as First Lady, tirelessly advocating for people and issues that haven't got a lot of attention in the past. First Lady Tammy Murphy took some time to talk with us this week about her latest initiative. First Lady of New Jersey, Tammy Murphy, thanks so much for spending some time with us. I know you're busy. You're doing this from your car, so I know you've been busy. You have a new initiative that is personal in our house because my mother-in-law was here in our house near the end of her life, suffering from ALS, and I know how important it is to try to make life as normal as it possibly can be, and to allow those suffering from ALS to stay connected. So please. Tell us what you're doing and what's happening for those suffering with ALS in New Jersey.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I'm terribly sorry to hear about your mother-in-law, and I'm glad that this has touched a nerve. We hope it does with many people. The ALS community in New Jersey is not a huge community, but there are approximately 400 people we estimate right now who have ALS, and if you take in the family members and their loved ones and their caregivers and the larger community, hopefully the work that we're doing is going to help with all of that. And that's we estimate is nearly 5,000 people across New Jersey. So, we felt like there was a really unique opportunity for us to really move the needle in for one particular community here in New Jersey. And the ALS community, it's an opportunity that actually came up through another organization that I started during the pandemic, the New Jersey Pandemic Relief Fund. And there was an opportunity that was brought to us to help people who have ALS gain access to technology that would be free of charge, that would enable them to communicate with their family members, with their friends, their loved ones, whether it's through mail or through surfing the net or just talking to people through eye contact. So it's a piece of equipment. I kind of think of Stephen Hawking when I picture this, because he was obviously able to communicate, and what it does is we are funding with over $1 million that the Murphy family, we personally are involved in this, as is Josh Weinrich, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the New Jersey Pandemic Relief Fund. So we were kind of the two who got really behind this, but there's a large group of people who came together and saw merit in being the first state in the United States to provide this technology free of charge to the entire community. And we really genuinely hope, we've all seen over the course of the pandemic how absolutely horrifying it is for many different communities not to be able to communicate. So you can just imagine if one is sick and you become increasingly unable to communicate because of ALS, and it even develops something called locked in, you're locked in, where your brain is still functioning, but you can't do anything other than use your eyesight. So this is a way to enable these people to have a better quality of life. And we really genuinely hope that by our partnership with Bridging Voices, that we will be able to serve as a catalyst for other states around the country, because this is something we could all do and just make people's lives a little bit better.
I want to make certain that people know how important what you're talking about is. It's not just email. It's not just getting on the internet. It is communication even in the room. If you can communicate on a computer, you can communicate to your family and the loved ones, and sometimes give them information of what you need at that moment. So, right. And I love that you're going after a population that sometimes is ignored because it's not one of the large charities. I'm sure that's part of what drove you, because this is not something that always gets the attention, but my goodness, it should.
No, I totally agree, and I will tell you from my household, we had a family meeting. It was our first family meeting ever to discuss giving money to a charity organization. And it was absolutely unanimous. All six, the kids were vehemently behind this and said, how can we possibly, these people can't even be educated. We give money to education, and that doesn't make sense. We've got to help them. So it was really a great moment.
One other initiative I want to get to, and I know you're pressed for time, was your Nurture New Jersey initiative when you were helping mothers who were going through birth, both before birth and after birth. And one of the statistics that we keep hearing here on the show over and over again that is stunning, that a Black mother has a 7 times greater chance of dying either somewhere in the maternal process. Could you talk about the initiative and how it's going at this point?
Sure. When Phil first came into office 3.5 years ago, we heard that New Jersey was at the time 45th in the country in terms of maternal mortality rates. That is a lagging indicator. So I will just tell you that, we're now 47th in the country. Obviously not proud of that, but as a mother of 4, to understand that there are real inequities in care, I wanted to try and figure out how we could move the needle. I should just also tell you, Larry, that the United States as a whole, we are 56th in the world for maternal mortality rates. So we think that we are so advanced and we are really not taking care of our own as well as we should. So this has been an initiative that's been ongoing by my office and my great team for 3.5 years, understanding the challenges, and there are many. This is a very deep-rooted problem. It involves institutional racism at every level. And just because someone has a different color skin does not mean that they should get unequal care or attention. And there's ample cases that I could talk about with celebrities who have had really challenging times, and they themselves haven't been able to elevate their own voices. So we have been working hard on this. We have developed Nurture NJ, which is our statewide awareness campaign. We are determined to make New Jersey the safest place in the United States to deliver and raise a baby. And we are really, I feel like, doing a lot in this space. Phil has actually signed more than 35 pieces of legislation at this point in time, directly targeting some of the factors that are at play here. And there's 10 items in the budget for this year that are coming out of directly related to the strategic plan that we worked very hard on to ensure that we are really moving this in a direction that will not just be a short-term change. This has got to be a long-term systemic change for the entire way we deliver care. So we came out with our strategic plan in January. We unveiled it. There's a lot of things that are running parallel to that which President Biden and Vice President Harris have suggested. And we're just really excited because we have a lot of momentum right now. The one other thing I will tell you that is particularly exciting is that we are determined to build an infant and maternal mortality innovation and research center. My dream is to build it in Trenton, and Trenton for many reasons. It's a birthing desert. There's a lot of challenges in Trenton, and it's our state capital. And given the fact that Phil, together with all the legislators, have been able to find 35 pieces of legislation to actually change the trajectory, it just makes a lot of sense. So stay tuned for that, because we're going to do that, and that's going to hopefully be something like the Cleveland Clinic or the MD Anderson of this space, and we're going to have it here in New Jersey.
Just one last question. You have a large megaphone, and you have an ability to get funds, to lobby very well for funds. How do you pick what your projects are? How do you pick what you're going to emphasize on and give your time to?
It has to touch my heart, and it has to be something that's going to help with support all that my husband is working to do, because we're trying constantly to make New Jersey stronger and fairer for everyone, and so it has to meet a lot of internal benchmarks in order for me to get involved. But I'm a terrible poker player, so if I don't like something, I can't raise money for it. So I won't be able to spend my own time and be convincing to anyone. So it's got to be something that's personal. It's got to be something that works in conjunction with all that Phil is trying to achieve for our great state. And yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I know I've already gone over time, but I appreciate you spending time with us. First Lady Tammy Murphy, next on Jersey Matters.
The CDC is now recommending that all pregnant women receive a COVID-19 vaccine, but not all mothers are on board. More on that story next.